Today on Diplomatic Insight, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan reaffirms his country's commitment to a $5 billion trade volume target and signs 9 cooperation deals with Nigeria as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pays a state visit to Turkiye. Hello and welcome to Diplomatic Insight. I am Oyebola. Welcome back. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has paid a state visit to Turkiye. President Tinubu was welcomed in Ankara by his Turkish counterpart, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, in an official ceremony at the presidential complex.
Nasılsınız? Sizler de sağ olun.
focused on strengthening the existing bilateral ties between the two countries in the areas of trade and investment, education, defense cooperation, peace and security, and the establishment of Joint Economic and Trade Committee, JETCO.
Effort at terrorism, discuss how we could defeat elements of destabilization, banditry, and horror. We will work together to achieve that. Take it to the bank. You can bet on me that I will be there with you for democracy, freedom, and
terrorist organizations emerging, particularly in Africa's Sahel region, unfortunately pose a threat to the peace of the entire continent. We stand by the friendly people of Nigeria in their fight against terrorism under the leadership of President Tinubu. In fact, today, we addressed opportunities for closer cooperation in the fields of military training and intelligence. We stated that we are ready to share our country's significant experience in the fight against terrorism.
Welcome back. During the visits, both presidents maintained their commitment to pursue a $5 billion trade volume between the two countries, as both countries signed 9 agreements, including Memorandum of Understanding MOU between the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, the Presidency for Tax Abroad and Related Communities of the Republic of Turkiye, and the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. MOU on cooperation between the Diplomacy Academy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkiye and the Foreign Service Academy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria. Agreements on defense cooperation between the governments of Turkiye and Nigeria. Joint declaration establishing the Joint Economic and Trade Committee, JETCO. MOU on Halal Quality Infrastructure between Turkiye's Halal Accreditation Agency and Nigeria's National Accreditation System. MOU on Higher Education Cooperation between Turkiye and Nigeria. MOU on Media and Communication between the government of Turkiye and Nigeria. Agreement on Education Cooperation between Turkiye and Nigeria. MOU between the Ministry of Family and Social Services of the Republic of Turkiye and the Ministry of Women Affairs of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That individual rapport is critical to successful economic relationships, and it was a wide-ranging discussion. Of course, security is critical, and there was a robust engagement. We had the Chief of Air Staff, we had Minister of Defense, we had the NSA, as well as the DGNI and other aspects of the security architecture, talking very, very honestly about cooperating in the area of security, technology, training, intelligence, and so forth. Also, we must also mention the fact that a critical element of the engagement, of course, once you have a secure environment, is investment. And here we looked at the fact that trade between Turkey and Nigeria, about $1 billion now, and there was a marker laid down. Both presidents said their commitment is to reach trade volume of $5 billion, as well as to engage in investments in each economy, so that Nigerian investments in Turkey as well as Turkey investments in Nigeria. And to that end, real commitment was made to putting in place the framework, the agreements, investment promotion and protection, double taxation treaty, as well as a JETCO, a Joint Economic Trade Committee, that will work specifically to build up trade. And of course, we must remember that in this day and age of bilateralism, you do and aggregation, we do need new trading partners, new markets, new opportunities, and of course new investments. And that, I think, at the end of the day, is what both presidents and both administrations committed to: more trade and investment between them, and they are both key players in the global south. So as the Western world, as the rich world is focusing on perhaps spending money on arms, spending less on concessional financing, spending less on development, these countries of the global south are coming together. And of course, Turkey is in fact well over a $1 trillion economy, and Nigeria has been set by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu the task of getting to a $1 trillion economy. So there were many areas of common interest, and it's a very worthwhile visit led by Mr. President to Turkey. Thank you.
I think it's a fantastic idea. It's a very good development for Nigeria and Turkey. Don't forget that Nigeria and Turkey have a long-standing strategic relationship spanning several years and across several sectors of the economy. So the presidential visit of today was essentially to consolidate that strategic partnership. And you heard what both presidents said about cooperation, collaboration in areas of defense, the economy, spanning several sectors of the economy, agriculture, solid minerals, energy, finance, and even family, the social welfare via the family program. And that family program is actually endorsed by the United Nations too. So Nigeria and Turkey are consolidating, that family thing to raise families across both countries, and of course even in Africa generally. So I think the visit has been very successful, and we are looking forward to consolidating further. In the area of solid minerals, I had a meeting, very useful meeting, with the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources of Turkey, and we recall that about several years ago, in 2020, thereabout, 3 MOUs were signed between Turkey and Nigeria on solid minerals exploitation. But unfortunately, those MOUs were not actioned, they were not followed up. And so today we decided that we had to revive those MOUs, sign new ones, and of course expand the frontiers. For instance, Nigeria has a large mineral endowment, and then we have created a lot of policy reforms to de-risk the environment and of course attract FDIs, foreign direct investment. And Turkey has a lot of mining engineering expertise, a lot of procurement expertise, a lot of construction engineering expertise. And so we want to leverage on all of this with Turkey to come in, make investments in the solid mineral sector of Nigeria, and of course we're looking towards local value addition, which is core and is central to our own policy in Nigeria on solid minerals. And Turkey has agreed to come in and see areas of further cooperation. We are inviting them to come and invest in our minerals. They need critical rare metals, they need gold, they need lithium, they need all of those minerals, the energy transition minerals. And their minister has agreed to send a team down to Nigeria in the coming weeks, and then we're going to sign another MOU. By May, I probably will be coming back here to sign those MOUs, and then we'll put timelines so that we ensure that this time around those MOUs are actionable, and then we'll achieve our common objectives. So it's been very, very rewarding and very fruitful trip.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the military agreement means a lot to us, especially with regards to our military cooperation, security cooperation, and we hope that that will really catalyze the border protection initiative of this administration. Just as you know, the border stretch is over 4,000 kilometers, 4 different countries, terrestrially, and of course we have some challenges within the border space. So we believe that with the agreement today, a lot will be done in that regard. And also, we also spoke about the issue of visa, ease of visa between our two countries, and I think we're making serious progress, and we're almost there on that particular one. And I can tell you that grounds have been shifted, and I think this collaboration will ensure that visa becomes more of a trade facilitation document, So, and I think we're making serious progress on that front. Well, what I can see is trust. They trust this president. They believe in Mr. President. They believed every word, not just every word, every alphabet that came out of his mouth. They believed him, and they're ready to invest their trust, in Nigeria, collaborating across board, and of course, I say there's a new lease of life, new level of understanding, and it's about the credibility of Mr. President that's also coming to play for each and every one of us. So I think the sincerity is there, and I think they've shown the commitment, and Mr. President too spoke from the heart. You needed to hear him speak straight from the heart, and he was very sincere in terms of saying, he's speaking, you can take my word to the bank. So I believe that it's about trusting the president, it's about the leadership of the country at this point in time. And this particular leadership commands global respect.
There was an agreement on scientific research and development in the course of the Nigeria-Turkish bilateral relations and agreement today, particularly as it relates to using research outcomes to solve problems in Nigeria, security problems, agricultural issues, on food security, and other things. So, Nigeria is high on education and research, but the focus is on transforming research outcomes to commercially viable products to solve our national problems. And Turkey is one nation that has actually become advanced in turning research outcomes to products and marketing this across the world. So part of the agreement we had today is to design an action plan between Nigeria and Turkey to support with taking research outcomes, turning them into commercially viable products in different sectors of our economy as part of the renewed hope agenda of bringing Nigerian economy to a $1 trillion benchmark.
This meeting gave both countries an opportunity to strengthen, to deepen their bilateral connections, to strengthen various other sectors of cooperation, particularly in defense, in intelligence, sharing in counterterrorism measures. Turkey is committed to Nigeria's fight against terror.
I can't go into more details, but the truth is that we want to leverage on the experiences and the performance, the professionalism of the Turkish armed forces, what they have been able to achieve within a short period. If you remember, before now they equally were faced with a lot of challenges of terrorism and how they were able to tackle it. They also realized that they couldn't have done it alone without being able to produce what they need. And so they built up their capacity and are able to produce what they need. Now we are leveraging on that, partnering together. So it's going to go into issues of training, equipment production, purchase of equipment, exchange of officers and troops together, joint training for special forces. And so it's whole holistic issues for it to assist us in also addressing such issues in our own country. I think it's as soon as yesterday to tell you how urgent it is. We want to live here. Tomorrow we also have some other programs to do. We're going to visit most of the items. We want to see those low-hanging fruits that we'll be able to take up as quickly as possible. Both presidents have agreed that it is important that we hasten what we're doing together and make it work. And so we, on our own part, we're taking up from there. The signing of the agreements has made it very, very clear that time shouldn't be wasted. We need to move on, and that's what we want to do. More efforts because, like I said, because we're not producing most of the equipment we needed, had been a difficult aspect in fighting terrorism. Now we're going to get a lot of this equipment from here. Eventually, again, they're going to come down, establish in Nigeria, we produce together so that we too can build our own capacity. So it's a win-win thing for both countries. It's a win-win thing for Nigerians. So I just want to appeal to Nigerians to remain steadfast. The president is working extremely very hard. That's why he's here, and you can see the people, the pedigree of the executive members that came here to show you the commitment. And as we always said, it's not only the kinetic, the non-kinetic, and that's why we have the Ministry of Women Affairs and other social aspects, because it's a holistic thing in winning the firefight.
So we didn't just have a bilateral today, we also signed an MOU. This has been in progress for the last 1 year. We've engaged extensively, so we've been able to come out with very concrete plans on how we can be able to strengthen our family agenda of Mr. President Bola Tinubu GCFR. And we must give it to him. For the first time, Mr. President has given governance a human face. Usually we see presidents that speak about building roads, bridges and monuments, but he's also put his social agenda at the center of national development, knowing that we govern human beings and we must be able to protect our systems socially. As part of our Family First agenda, we're trying to strengthen our social workforce. We're trying to place a strong social cohesion strategy that will protect not just the family unit, but in turn strengthen our communities and also provide other social and economic opportunities for our women, the vulnerable, the elderly at large. So today the MOU revolves around the family, the children, women's economic empowerment, access to all sorts of financial and financial literacy, access to market, and also cultural exchange between the two parties, because we work closely together, know more about each other, so that we can even respect and love each other better as a people. I mentioned that we've been working for 1 year. This is one agreement that will not just sit on the table and gather dust. Already the work has been in progress. Already we've written to Mr. President seeking approval so that he can make a few pronouncements. Last year you saw Mr. President approve the universal cash grant transfer to children. It means that, it means a whole big deal for our children in Nigeria. Today we have 50% of our citizens being under the age of 15. So we're not just on the continent of the future, but we're the country of the future because of the way we are growing. Nigeria, just like Turkey, have our own demographic challenges. Their one is that of underpopulation. Our one is that of an explosion in population. So this particular partnership gives us the advantage to be able to learn best practices, transfer skills when it comes to social development in our beloved country.
That's all for today on Diplomatic Insight. Thank you for watching and see you next week for another interesting episode. Stay informed.